Alright, so what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be telling you about what I'm going to do for my workout, as I did yesterday about my back workout. I'm going to just try to keep it as simple as possible, but also explain why I'm doing everything, because I feel like knowing why is the most important part of exercising. I talked with my brother the other day, and the thing that we brought up is that when it comes to working out, if you have knowledge on how everything works, you can easily find ways to modify your workout and still get the right stimulus, the right pump, right, the right growth. It doesn't matter what exercise you do. I try to tell that to people so often because they always go, oh, I want to know specifically what you're doing. And the truth is, I don't do the same exercises every single session for a muscle group, right? So I might do one variation one day, but then on the next day I'll do another one, on the next day I'll do another one, because I feel like there isn't just a correct exercise to do. That it's like, if you don't do this exercise, you're not going to see any progress at all. So I want to emphasize that before I start talking about what I'm going to do for my workout, because again, it's important to know that the type of exercise you're doing, in a sense, unless the exercise is dog shit, different variations don't really matter. They all have their own purpose, so that's why I do all of them, because I think all of them have some benefit to it. But there's some exercises, of course, that I will just never do for a muscle group, even though it's a real exercise, right? So at the end of the day, you're supposed to personalize your workout. You're supposed to make it work for you. And so that's the important part about this. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to do arms. I'm going to do forearms, and I'm going to do triceps. And so the way I'm going to structure the workout is I'm actually going to start with what I consider my weak point, which is my forearms, right? Out of my forearms and my tricep. And so when it comes to training the forearms, there's actually there's three different exercises I like to do, but to the actual part of the forearm, there's only two muscles. So there's kind of this upper part over here, right? This part that's moving, there's this upper part here, and then there is the lower part over here, which is like what kind of makes it like arc out, right? My forearms look super good right now, I'm not even gonna lie. So this is perfect. Using me hold on using myself as an anatomy lesson. Okay, so we have the forearm, right? So what are the two exercises that I do to grow the two different parts of the forearms? Now, it doesn't make sense to me, right, if there's the upper part of the forearm, to do two different variations of that in the same workout, because I feel like if there's one exercise that directly isolates it, or isolates it well enough to the point where it can fully cover a part, whether it be the top or the bottom, then I feel like just one variation is enough. Okay, so what I do for my upper part of the forearm is I just do reverse grip curls. Now I always do these trying to keep my wrists kind of as straight as possible. Sometimes I'll arc a little bit like this because I can pull on it more than being completely straight, but that's only when I start going in a really heavy weight and like I need to cheat it more, you know, whatever you want to call it. But I also do that just because I'm not trying to injure myself going super heavy and trying to strain my wrist and keep as straight as possible. You don't need to do that to like do reverse grip curls, you know. But the point being is, doing reverse grip curls is gonna be a really, really good exercise for this top part over here, especially like if you're activating your forearm and actually using it during the exercise instead of just swinging it. You can look in the mirror and you'll be able to see that part of your arm growing. So what do I do for the bottom part of my forearm? The bottom part of my forearm, I do the like cable wrist curls. Now I like doing these with dumbbells too. I used to do them a lot more with dumbbells, but on the cables is nice too, because it's pretty easy to just do this with like a straight bar, you know, on a cable setup. Just set it as high as possible and crank that shit out. So that's what I've been doing recently. I've really never done this exercise like up until now. So out of the like 2.8 years I've been training, like the first 2 years I was not really training forearm directly like I am now, and especially in the past couple of months is when I've only been implementing the actual like wrist curls. But doing that, I've been able to see a bit more progress in my forearms. I do really think that doing reverse grip curls is the best for your forearms, but of course getting this like flex motion here and building this part of your forearm is super important as well. But the third thing I do for my forearms / brachialis is a hammer curl. Of course, when I do hammer curls in front of a mirror and I'm sideways, I can directly see my forearms working and I can see them growing in the mirror. So that's why it's my like goated like forearm workout, because it does in a way hit your biceps, right? The brachialis, it's not the same thing, but you know, it's in this general region. Just trying to simplify, it's in the general region. So doing hammer curls, you can see your forearm squeezing into your bicep, and I feel like that contraction is just the best contraction for growing your forearms, especially if you keep your form really stripped. It's a really good way to grow your forearms. So that is what I'm planning to do for my forearms. Now moving on to my triceps, I like to keep it very simple. I like to do a press down movement and I like to do an overhead movement. And so the overhead movement I usually always do with a dumbbell, and I like to do it seated. I like to do it like this because at my gym it's set up in a way so that I can just be like super close in, but the dumbbell it doesn't hit the seat or anything, you know. So I have a direct, like, my range of motion in this exercise is really, it's strict, but the way it's set up, it's really easy to execute. So I've been able to go really heavy on these, and that's what's been helping grow my my triceps a lot. But the second thing I do for my triceps as well is I do just a regular push down. So whether it be with like a V-bar handle or the cable or a straight bar, it doesn't matter. It's really just about that pressing movement of the tricep. And so I like to do that for my triceps, and I usually just like to, you know, go heavy on everything like I talked about in the previous videos. We already know the rep range is around 8 to 10, but like aiming to be failing with like 0 reps in reserve at 8 or 9 reps. Okay, so the thing is, when it comes to hitting triceps, I just apply that principle. I really feel like this is what I'm saying. Different variations of a tricep push down, they all work the same muscle in a sense. It's just really different. Yeah, it's a different range of motion, it's a different feel, right? Because the handles are all shaped in different ways, but you're working out the like medial part of your tricep, right? And so like if you do an overhead extension, which is a completely different exercise for a completely different part of the tricep, it's not just going to give you a medial head pump. Like even if I might indirectly hit it, the purpose of an overhead tricep extension is to hit that long head. So I feel like, I mean, that's really the two parts to the tricep. You have the back part, right, or the long part, and then you have the medial, the middle, or yeah, I mean, medial, middle, it's like the front part of your tricep, but the point being is that's what makes up your tricep. And so I always like to start with the overhead dumbbell first, just because I feel like I do have really good triceps overall. Like I have good medial head triceps, but I feel like my long head could be a little bit bigger or more proportionate to my medial head. But that's just because of how I trained in my early years. I did a lot of close grip benching and stuff like that, so my triceps did get really strong. But I like to do that, and then I like to finish with like tricep push down, and then like maybe I'll do some bicep curls at the end just for a pump, and that's gonna wrap up the arm workout. So if you guys like hearing about this and you guys like knowing my workouts, let me know in the comments below. I can make more videos like this, especially since I'm basically training every single day. I always am changing up my workouts, changing up what I'm doing based on what I'm seeing in my physique. So if you guys are interested in following along, subscribe, like, comment, share, send this out to everyone so I can get in the algorithm, because I am going to be consistent on YouTube. I'm going to be helping you guys learn how to get jacked like me. So I'll see you in the next one.